Hi everyone, my name is Julie. I talk about books on this channel, mainly books about magic. If you want to see more of that, you can hit the subscribe button down below. But today we are going to see what Rainy Blue Reads has picked out for me to read. So today's video is all thanks to Rainy over at Rainy Blue Reads. She has a series on her channel called Booktuber Taste Test, and she asked me to be a part of the taste test to see how we lined up. We had been talking on sprints about kind of our different opinions on books, and we were just curious to see how we would line up on different things and if we could pick things for each other that would be a success. So Rainy has chosen 3 books. And this is actually Julie at the end talking to you right now, so I have all the answers. I know what's going on. So if you haven't seen one of Rainy's Booktuber Taste Test videos before, this is how they work. She has chosen 3 books for me to read, and one of them is a book that she liked, one is a book that she didn't like, and the third is a book she hasn't read. So I have to figure out which one is which and also read them, and hopefully I like them. So she has picked from my TBR, I have picked from her TBR, and we each have to read the books. And I chose 3 books for her that are different books, and then we go from there. So she is about to show me the books in the next clip. I'm really excited for this. Rainy, thank you so much for including me in the project, and I hope everybody has a good time because this was a bit of a ride, to be honest. All right, everyone, it is time. I'm gonna watch Rainy's video and see what she has recommended and try to form an initial guess on what she has read, what she didn't like, what she loved, what she didn't like, and what she hasn't read. So let's see where we go from here. My laptop is down here, so if I'm looking down, that's what's happening.
Hello, Julie. You get this video in my car because this is the only place I could film it where my kids are not being super loud. They are asleep in the back behind me, so I'm gonna be quick with this video.
Rainy's Rex in the car. I'm not going to sing the song because I'm already a little sick and I can't sing, but it's Rainy's Rex in the car. Excellent.
But I have 3 books for you, of course. Thank you for agreeing to do round 3 of the Booktuber Taste Test, where I will share a book with you that I didn't like, a book with you that I loved, and a book that I have not read that I hope I will love. And I used them all from your little merry shelves that you sent me. So, without any order at all to this, without any rhyme or reason, the first one that I'm going to give to you is The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix.
Ooh.
If you don't know what that one's about, it's about a bunch of final girls all being together after, each of their final girl instances, and then a murderer coming around, and they think that he's coming back to finish the job for all of these final girls. So, that is
okay. I did send Rainy a picture of my physical TBR, and I had The Final Girl Support Group on there by Grady Hendrix. I have not read this. I've only read one Grady Hendrix, and that was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Killing Vampires. So I don't know if Rainy has read this or not, but I am super interested to try this one. I've been trying to fit another Grady Hendrix on my TBR for months now, so I'm thrilled that this is here.
Number 1. Number 2 is We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Barry, which is a hockey romance. I am joking. There is no romance. It is just a hockey book. Follows a hockey team. Think Beartown, that sort of situation. So that is the second book for you.
So I have We Ride Upon Sticks. This is a weird little book. At least that's what I've heard about it. It's like about witchcraft and about hockey, and when Rainy said about it was a hockey romance, I really had to laugh because it is like the antithesis of that. I think it might be sapphic, but I could be wrong. It's like 80s witchcraft, hockey, weirdness. So this could be another one that she has read because I know Rainy likes weird books. So is it her brand of weird that she has read or not? Let's see. One more.
And then the third and final book I have for you is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Lynn Tan, which is a celestial duology that has to do with like all this mythology and folklore, which I hope you will absolutely love. So, one more time if we go through them, we have The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix, We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Barry, and The Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Lynn Tan. I hope you love absolutely each and every single one of these books, and happy reading.
Okay, so I do have Daughter of the Moon Goddess here. So it's time to make predictions, right? I'm feeling initially like We Ride Upon Sticks is the one that Rainy hasn't read. I feel like she would read it, but I'm not sure she has read it. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, I feel like is the one that she read and didn't like. And then Grady Hendrix would have The Final Girl Support Group would be the one that she read and did like. That's like my initial thoughts, but I don't know for sure. I also feel like Grady Hendrix is like a really love or hate author. So another possibility, the other like running possibility would be that she didn't like this one. She hasn't read this one and she did like this one. So those are my two theories so far. So we'll see what I think when I read them, but I'm really excited to try all of these. They're all ones that I've had for a while and have been meaning to get to for one reason or another. So I am so interested to see what I think of these. Good morning, everyone. It is my first update for We Ride Upon Sticks. I had to think about the name of this book. We Ride Upon Sticks. I probably should have brought it down with me. Dang it. So this is the story of a field hockey team in the 80s who they do a little bit of magic, maybe, possibly. I think that's what we're trying to figure out through this book. They all participate. They all write their names in a book and tie this like string on their arm because they're trying to turn their luck around for both their field hockey season and other things in their life. It's kind of a weird book so far. It's set near where the Salem witch trials happened, so that it's kind of like got that vibe going on, that they're like, what did the witches do? Was there witchcraft here? Are we doing witchcraft? Is this magic? Is this just positive thinking? You know, what's going on here? We have a girl named Abby Putnam in it. We don't really have a main character, which is a really interesting point in this book. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to figure out what this like writing tense is called, because we're from the outside and we're like, we have like a narrator who is on the outside looking in but talking with the word we. So I'm just curious what this would be called, but I like it. I don't dislike it. I'm having a really good time with this book so far. It's weird, but it's interesting. It's very 80s. I mean, it's like a time capsule of the 80s in here. So it's an interesting exploration of that, as well as just like what's going on with these girls in their lives and how they're all kind of dealing with being seniors in high school on the field hockey team. So I like it so far. I'm going to keep listening to it. Like I said, I'm about 30% in right now, and I would like to finish this book this weekend because I need to read other books for other projects and more for this project. I somehow have 2 taste test videos going up within a week of each other. So I have 6 books that I have to read for these 2 projects, and I only have 1 done so far and 2 weeks to read the rest. So we're gonna have a fun time. I want to finish this book and then see if I can start the Final Girls support group, because I also have that one from the library. So we are moving on, gonna get started and keep going. Okay, everyone, so I have just discovered, I was looking at my Libby holds and my Libby checkouts, and this book has 13 days left on the hold, or on the borrow, and this only has 8. So I actually think I'm going to put this on pause for just a moment so that I can get through the 2 that are going to go back sooner. I feel like I'm in a really good spot with this, that I won't come back and be confused about what's going on, because there's actually not a lot happening. We're just following these girls, and I feel like I'm going to quickly take notes and like put a sticky note in here about the like each girl, so that I kind of have a reminder when I come back. But I don't feel like I'm going to lose that much memory about this, because the other 2 books are so different. Like they're not this at all. So that's what I'm gonna do. Unfortunately, I'm glad I looked, because otherwise I would have like lost these 2 holds and I would have had a hard time getting them back. I don't remember. Maybe I'm doing this and I would have just been able to reborrow them. But since it is the weekend, since I have an extra day off on Monday, I think I'm gonna try to make a lot of progress in these 2 that will return very soon, and then go back to We Ride Upon Sticks. I guess I should tell you the Final Girl support group is about a group of girls who were the final girls. This is Grady Hendrix. It's horror. I have sort of resurfaced a memory since I've been thinking about this book a lot. I remember being on Sprints with Rainey and her saying that she has read all Grady Hendrix books except for 1. And I don't remember which one that was. So now I'm wondering if I should be thinking differently, if this is the one she has read and didn't like, because I remember her saying that she didn't like the Grady Hendrix. I could be misremembering, but that's sort of what that memory has sort of resurfaced. So I'm thinking that that's what is the one that she didn't like. The other two are still up in the air, but we shall see. Welcome to Sunday, Cozy Sunday, because we are at the point in Pennsylvania spring where it goes spring, winter, spring, winter, spring, winter, and we are back to winter, and I'm sad about it. So we are in ultimate cozy garb today, and I am going to try to make some progress in some books. So I'm going to be alternating between this and a couple of other things. So far I am 10% into this. This is a wild ride so far. Like, I really thought I knew where this was going to go in the first like 10%. And it has already taken me off guard a little bit. Personally, I like Grady Hendrix's writing, and I like the way he is, our main character, the one that we are in her head is Lynette, and she's a wild ride, but also understandably, because she went through something very traumatic. It's just really interesting so far, and I am interested to see where we go with this, because I imagine there's going to be more death at this point. I don't know. I don't remember any more from the synopsis, but since we have one dead final girl, I'm wondering if there are going to be more, and then we're going to have to figure out with Lynette with what's going on. So far, so good. Sorry my Discord keeps going off. And yeah, I'll keep you posted on what I think. Good morning. So I'm getting ready for work, and I'm reading that's the other one. Final Girl Support Group. And I really liked this at the beginning. Like, I thought it was really interesting what we were exploring with these women in this group. And, you know, we kind of start off relatively close to the beginning with a bang because, you know, we reveal, I think the synopsis reveals that one of them has died and they're trying to figure out what's going on. But I am not having a good time. And I'm disappointed I'm not having a good time. I really thought I was going to love this because I enjoyed Southern Book Club's guide so much, and this just doesn't, this is missing something from that. I don't know what it is. I do not mean to interrupt the vlog, but I am editing this video and I had the moment where I was like, I know what this was missing for me, so I'm gonna interrupt past me and say that to read only these two Grady Hendrix books not back to back, but like I have only read these two in Southern Book Club, the women are like working together for the most part. There are moments where they get separated. There are moments where they are adversaries, but they are mostly working together. And it's almost the opposite in this book, where there are moments where they work together, but they are mostly adversaries. And realizing that makes me realize what I was like feeling missing from this book, because I had seen Grady Hendrix do the exact opposite, and that worked so well for me that having them be mostly adversaries was difficult for me to like enjoy, because I wanted them to be working together. And for the most part, I liked all the women in Southern Book Club, and in this book I didn't like most of the women. So it's just a really interesting like comparison, because these are the only two that I have read from Grady Hendrix. I also physically read Southern Book Club, so I sort of created my own voice, and I listened to Final Girls on audio and it created voices for me. So I'm wondering if maybe that's part of it too. But just when I'm putting this all together and editing it, I'm realizing that is the piece that was the problem. Like, that I had read one book by Grady Hendrix where everyone's mostly allies most of the time, versus this book where they are mostly not allies most of the time. We are following Lynette as our main character, who is very unlikable, and also I need an indicator of if she's a reliable narrator or not, because I can't tell at this point. And we're following her, and I just feel like they're doing all of these things, but we're not going anywhere with all of them. So I'm having a hard time with it, because I just feel like nothing is happening, and I don't know. It's just not, I don't feel invested, and that's hard for me. None of these characters are super likable, and I'm a very character-driven reader, so sometimes that impacts if I'm enjoying a book or not, and this is one of those times where I'm just like, I don't like any of these people. I might DNF if I wasn't doing this for a project, but I'm going to give it a little more time and see what happens, because we are the 50% mark. I feel like we're going to hit a, like, point where it really takes off. But right now it's a little bit of a struggle for me. So we'll see. I don't hate it. I just feel like it's going to end up being something that's very middle of the road for me. So that's why I'm saying I would DNF it. Like, I wouldn't DNF it because I hate it. I would just DNF it because I'm like, I'm not enjoying this and I don't need to keep reading it. So I can keep going to see if it gets any better, and we'll see if I enjoy it at the end. I knew it. I knew it. I'm so mad. I knew it. Hello, everyone. So I finished the Final Girl support group this morning, and okay, I know the last time I talked in depth about this book, I was like, I would DNF this. I'm bored. I don't really care about any of the characters, and like, the ending sort of brought it back. Like, I definitely started to get more invested towards the end, and I really like wanted to find out what happened. I started to like more of the characters. I got my answers about, you know, if Lynette was a reliable narrator or not. So a lot of things started to happen after I talked to you at, I think, like the 50% mark that really drew me back into this story. Do I love this one as much as I loved Southern Vampires? No. I think this is probably, I have to think about, like, I finished it this morning, so I'm going to think about it a little more, but I think this is like a 3-star for me, because it really, really lost me in the middle. Like, I was really just like, what are we doing? But then the end really brought it back around. So like 3, maybe a 3.5. So I'll give you a final rating, but this was not my favorite thriller, but I still had a good time with it. Now, what are my final, like, this isn't going to be the final, but like, do I think Rainey liked this book or not? Or has she not read it? Like I said, I do remember Rainey saying that she has read all but one of Grady Hendrix's books. And I don't know if it was this one. I kind of feel like it wasn't this one. So I'm using a little like background knowledge. So I think this is one of the ones she has read. But I'm gonna stick this one for now. This one is gonna go in the spot of Rainey did read it but didn't like it. That's where this is like slotted in for now until I read the other two. I am really excited to go back to, you can see the like pinky cover. I am really excited to go back to We Ride Upon Sticks. I am enjoying that one a lot. I'm about at the 40% mark, and now I'm going to dive back into that one since I'm now finished with Final Girls, and we'll see how that goes. But this one, yeah, just I don't think I would not read any more Grady Hendrix, but I really thought I was going to like this one a lot more than I did. So I have finished We Rode Upon Sticks by Quan Berry, and I absolutely loved this. I would give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I loved this like group think writing style. It was really interesting. It really lended itself to that idea that the girls were linked telepathically and that this team was communicating that way. I just really loved the exploration of like girlhood, you know, like this is girlhood. Some of this felt very much like that all of these teammates were relying on one another to, you know, ensure they're taken care of and rely on each other when their families weren't always something they could rely on. And we explored each one of the families and sort of what was going on with them and things that were going on in the background of the school. And this was a weird book. It was a weird book, but it was also a great book, and I had a great time with it. I just really, really enjoyed this. And the only critique I would have, and this might have been my fault, honestly, was that I just kept losing track of everyone, because everyone is sort of in this, they're this field hockey team who may or may not be doing witchcraft, may or may not be telepathically linked through a notebook and a piece of tube sock tied to their arm. But so they're all sort of thinking similar thoughts in a lot of ways, and we don't have like a main character. We keep jumping, like we hear all the characters' thoughts, and it started to get a little like, I didn't know who anybody was at certain points. Like if I was reading this for like an hour, I'd really have a solid like grasp on who was who. But if I got interrupted or when I picked it back up, I kind of had to relearn everybody and kind of get a good grasp on everyone again. And I think that may have been my fault for putting it down and going to Final Girl support group and then coming back to this, but I also think that it probably would have been the same feeling till we got to the like 50 or 65% mark and we were through most of the teammates' family like discussion, like because we visited like each teammate to like see their home life and what was going on with them. It was just a really interesting to read these back to back because this sort of did everything for me that this book didn't. Even though I don't want to make it sound like I hated this, because I didn't. It just sort of ended up being like very middle of the road for me. So I think we're probably going to end on a 3.25 and a 4.5 here. Then I am sitting cross-legged on my bed to give you a little bit of a different view than rather than at my desk, but my book, Daughter of the Moon Goddess, is over on the desk. So we're not going to get up to get that. I'm just going to show you a picture. In this, we're following Zhe Ling, who is a young woman who she is the daughter of the moon goddess, like the title says, but when she is almost discovered, her mother sends her away from their home in order to keep her hidden and make sure that the emperor and empress don't know she exists. So she ends up working in their household as a companion to the crown prince. The two of them are like sort of developing this bond, and she's learning like archery and she's reading and learning all this stuff, and I just don't, the writing style is so shallow. Like I feel like so much is happening but also nothing is happening, and I just don't feel any depth to the character. Like when the characters are off page, I just feel like they don't exist. Like they come back and they're the same, or they don't have any new thoughts. It's like the same things that we're going over with the same characters, and I'm not having a good time. So I'm gonna give this a little more time and see what happens, but this could actually be a DNF. Also, there's like no chemistry between the main character and the prince, and I can't remember either of their names. But there's just no chemistry there. There's no banter. There's no, I don't know, it just feels so flat. And so, like, I think it's supposed to be a love triangle. We haven't seen anything of the second love interest yet, and I also just feel no connection between these two. Like, I know that I'm supposed to, but I just don't. I think I'm further than 15%. I think I'm at like 30%. So I'm even further, and I'm having trouble with this one. So this is my initial update. I'm gonna give it at least to 50% to see if this gets any better for me. But this very well could be a DNF for real. Good morning and welcome to the second update outdoors in 2024. This is only the second time I've been out here. I was gonna say first, but we did one on the front porch a few weeks ago. So I got up, it's only like 50 degrees, but you know, I have to have my iced coffee. Bye girlies, just gotta always have the iced coffee. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I have to DNF this book. I really don't want to, because I really want to finish it for the project, and also I wanted to like this. Like, I'm so disappointed, but it's putting me in a slump. I decided yesterday, I talked to you guys, but like before I had talked to you, I decided I was gonna put it down for the day and I was gonna read something else. I'm participating in Bree's Scatagorathon for her Patreon this weekend, and I was like, I'm gonna take this fit the role that I got for the first book, and I was like, I'm gonna put this down, I'm gonna roll for something else, and I'm just gonna like read something else I want to read and see if it's me or the book or like what. The book I picked up is, I don't want to put down. I absolutely love it, so it's not me. So in conclusion, it's the book. This writing style just isn't working for me. There's nothing happening, and none of the characters feel like real. None of them feel like they're really fleshed out. The banter isn't bantering. There's no like, for me, there's no like tension between these characters. There's no, I keep forgetting that she is supposed to be like the enemy, like the child of their enemy, and I think she does too. So it's just not, it's not working for me. And I have to just admit that, even though I want to read it for the project, that I don't want to put myself in a slump. So in conclusion, I'm really sad I'm DNFing this because I The goal of the project is to pick 3 books that, even if they worked for you, whether you hated them or you haven't read them, you hope they work for the other person. And the 2 out of the 3 did work really well, and I had good time with both those books. I know I talked about DNFing Final Girl Support Group, but like, sometimes there is a moment in the book where you're like, do I have to put this down or should I keep going? And it turned itself around and it really worked out for me. I just don't feel like this book, because it's the writing style, is gonna work for me, and like the way the plot is going, I just don't think it's gonna work for me. And that is so sad to me, because all 3 of these on premise, obviously I picked up because they were on my physical TBR, but still I thought all 3 of these were gonna be like hits for me and ones that I really liked. And I'm also disappointed to be DNFing a beautiful book. So, you know, like, I'm sad that this didn't work out. So the next time you see me, I'll be at my computer seeing which of the books was which. Right now, my theory is that Final Girl Support Group is the one that Rainey loved, because I know she's read a lot of Grady Hendrix. I also know she really likes thrillers, and it did have like a fun like premise and a fun twist and all of that stuff. I really feel like that's probably the one that Rainey loved. And then I really think my whole theory about We Rode Upon Sticks is based on my thoughts about this one. So I don't think this is going to be a Rainey book. I think this is going to be too fluffy, not enough going on, and also I don't think the banter or the romance was bantering or romancing enough for Rainey's taste. So I think this is going to be one she didn't like, and therefore I think We Rode Upon Sticks is going to be the one that she hasn't read, mostly because that one seems like something that she would have enjoyed, I think, but I also know that it might be one that's just on her radar because it's not like a super popular book. So that one is kind of based on something that I think, if Rainey, you haven't read it, you would like, because it's weird and really interesting, and it has a lot of like 80s in it. It just feels like something that she would enjoy. I feel like I was talking to Rainey and also about Rainey, so sorry for that combination of weird sentences, but I do feel like it would be something that's up her alley. But I feel like the stronger possibility is that she's read the Grady Hendrix book, so I'm putting that one in the liked spot and this one in the haven't read spot. We'll see how it all shakes out, but I'm gonna go eat some breakfast and then we'll catch up at the computer. Okay, it is time to watch the reveal video. I think my choices are solid. I don't think I'm going to make any changes, so I'm going to do a quick recap, but you have already seen why I think the things I think. So we think that Rainey read and liked Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. She did not read We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry, and that she has read and not liked Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. So that's what we think has happened. And I'm about to open the reveal video and we'll see what she thought about them.
Okay, Julie, let's have a talk. Let's talk about these 3 books. Did you get it right? Did you not?
Let's find out.
Let's go in order. The first book I gave you was The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. And for everyone that knows me, they know I have a very bad record with Grady Hendrix. However, this book got a 4.5 stars from me. It was the book that I loved. Now, if I was to read it now, I don't think it would hold up. But I had a great time with this. It wasn't too icky of horror for me. It's very unrealistic. Hence, I really should be a 4-star, because at the end, things happen that are completely unrealistic. But I had a time with this. I was loving. I just liked it. It was a crazy horror, fun-filled time. And that's what I needed it. Honestly, it was a campy horror. That's why I loved it so much. So that was the book that I loved.
Okay, so I feel validated in the fact that I kept flipping back and forth about if I thought she liked this book, because she has a love-hate relationship with Grady Hendrix, and it might be different now if she reread it. So I feel validated. I'm really excited. 1 down, 1 for 1.
Then I gave you We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry. And that is the book that I have not read. I own it, and I've always wanted to read it, because Books and Lala loves it, even though I've learned that my tastes don't really match up with her. but I saw that you had it on your shelf and figured you could read it and decide if it was worth reading. So hopefully you loved it. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Okay, so again, I agree with Rainey herself that I think she would love this book. It is weird, but it's also like a little on the like side of like not quite horror, but like darker and like explorative. Is that a word? I don't know, but I'm really excited because if I got this one right, then let's see what she says.
The book that I didn't love is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Celine Chan. And I'm very sad to say that I didn't love that book. I tried so hard. Honestly, I DNF'd it at like 65-70%. I just could not keep going. The writing was like really flowery, but it didn't make up for like the plot or lack of plot or just my lack of interest in the plot. I am very, very sad. I really wanted to push through on this one. I just couldn't do it. So I really hope that you enjoyed it because like it is a truly beautiful book and I'm very sad that I don't get to continue on in the series, but unfortunately that was just not the fantasy romancy book for me. So I hope you had a fun time with these and I hope that you absolutely loved them or loved all of them, and if you didn't, then I'm sorry, but thanks for being my third booktuber for this booktuber taste test.
I think that is so fun. Rainey, congratulations because you made it further than I did. Because I simply could not after the 30% mark with this book, because it's exactly like you just said in this clip, that it's all flowery, but there's not a lot of substance. There's not enough banter. There's not enough to keep me interested. And I was literally feeling myself getting dragged into a slump with this book. I'm totally happy that 2 out of 3 were fantastic. I had a great time like with the like reading them, and like I said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So I'm thrilled that I got all 3 right. I really, really hope that you enjoyed the books I picked for you, and I had a great time doing it. Thank you so much for inviting me to do the project. Yeah, what a fun time. Rainey, thank you so much. I don't have anything else to add. Just this was a very fun time. Please subscribe and check out Rainey if you haven't already, because she is fabulous. She has a very fun channel and I really love getting recs from her. Editing Julie one more time to remind you to go check out Rainey's video, because I told you about her channel but I almost forgot to tell you about the video. So go check out her version where she reads what I picked out for her and see if she liked it. I really hope she liked it, but definitely go check it out. I'll have it linked below and probably up in the cards at some point, so go check her out too. I am really interested to see. I was really nervous when I was choosing books for her because we didn't have a lot in common as far as like books that I had seen we had both read that we liked. Like our ratings were really like polar opposites in a lot of cases. So I'm nervous about if she is going to enjoy the books that I picked for her, but I had a great time. So thank you, Rainey. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me again, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Did you get any of the guesses right? Did you think what I was going to guess was correct? That's it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.